wondered why we stay on the ground rather than floating up in the air? Here's why. The phenomenon gravity has been studied by 16th century scientist Galileo Galilei and later studied further by Sir Isaac Newton in 1687. Here's a famous story you may have heard before. Newton, a famous mathematician and physicist, was sitting under a tree thinking when suddenly a ripe apple fell from the tree and hit him on the head. This was when he asked the well-known question, why did the apple fall down instead of falling sideways or floating in the sky? Newton theorized that there was an unseen force acting upon the objects on Earth that pulled them towards it. So when the apple grew too ripe and heavy for the stem, it broke off and was pulled downwards by gravity. Remember, in the case of gravity, up means away from the Earth and down means towards the Earth. Everything is affected by gravity, no matter how heavy or light the object is. This is because an object's weight is actually a measure of gravity, or rather the force that gravity exerts on an object. However, while gravity remains constant, other factors can affect the way things fall. The hammer hits the ground first, and the feather falls much more slowly. It would seem like the heavier objects fall faster, right? Well, we know that weight doesn't matter when it comes to how gravity affects something, but something called air resistance does affect the way things fall. Air resistance is a force caused by air that acts in the opposite direction of an object. It can also be described as the sum of the impacts of the air with each point on the object. The hammer is a solid object, but the feather is filled with gaps, as you can see here. The feather comes in contact with the air in more places than the hammer, so it is more susceptible to the force of the air resistance. The feather takes more time to fall because it has a harder time overcoming air resistance than the hammer. In case you're still skeptical about this idea, watch this video from NASA of an astronaut testing the same idea. Roll the clip.
Same time. How about that?
As you can see, the hammer and the feather hit the ground at the exact same time. This is because space exists in a vacuum, which means there is no air. Therefore, objects on the moon or in space do not experience air resistance. So there you have it. Today we have learned about a force of nature that affects your life every day.